You're a disgrace to this family, and you're out of my will. My father said those words in front of 8 guests, finger pointed at my face like a loaded gun. I'd just stepped through the doorway, uniform still dusty from Kandahar, combat boots on Mom's Persian rug, duffel bag hitting the floor, the thud like a heartbeat. The dining room froze, chandelier blazing, smell of roasted meat and wine, the clatter of a dropped fork. 8 pairs of eyes staring, mouths open. "Robert," Mrs. Henderson stood up. "She is not my daughter." Dad's voice filled the house, face flushed red, finger still pointing. "This one abandoned her family." Chose that goddamn uniform. 15 months without a single call. Now crawling back like she has any right to be here. My brother, David, sat at Dad's right, lips curled, eyes cold as ice. Said nothing, just smiled. Dad set his champagne glass down, the clink like a gunshot. "Everything in this house belongs to David. He stayed. He's loyal." Dad's hand swept toward the door. You're nothing. Get out of my house." Silence, heavy as lead. I stood there, didn't move, didn't speak, just looked at the man who used to lift me onto his shoulders when I was 6, the man now looking at me like trash. But I didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't turn away. Because this wasn't the first time he wanted me gone, just the first time he said it out loud, in front of others. And in that moment, I understood. He'd planned this. He waited for me to come home, waited to humiliate me. But before this scene, before Dad cut me from his will while I was fighting in Afghanistan, before he called me nothing in front of 8 people, there was a story. A story about a 10-year-old girl trying to be perfect. About a mother who taught her that dreams don't expire, they just transfer. And about 6 letters sent home that no one answered. To understand why he hates me, you need to know how much I used to love him. So let me start from the beginning, from the day I was 10, the day I played piano perfectly and learned that perfect was never enough when you weren't born a son. I was 10 when I learned that perfect was never enough. Community center, old wooden stage, smell of dust and piano polish. Stage lights warm on my face. My fingers trembling slightly on the white keys, cold as stone. Chopin, Nocturne in E-flat major. 6 months of practice, 2 hours every day. Aching fingers, curved back, eyes blurred from staring at sheet music too long. Dad wanted a refined daughter, so I tried to become refined. I played. Not one mistake, not one wrong note. Tempo steady as a metronome. Emotion? I tried to imagine it like my teacher said. I imagined Mom smiling. Applause erupted, loud, warm. I stood up, bowed, ran off stage with the certificate in hand. White paper, gold lettering. First place, junior division. Found Dad in the back row. He was talking to Mr. Miller, holding a cup of cold coffee. "Dad! I played it perfectly. Teacher said I..." Dad looked down, didn't smile. "Good. Your posture needs work. Shoulders too tense." Then turned back to his conversation. David, 13 years old, stained t-shirt, holding a bag of cookies, stood beside him. Hadn't performed anything, hadn't practiced anything, just stood there, eating. Dad ruffled his hair. "That's my boy. Come on, let's get ice cream." They left. Didn't look back. I stood there, holding the certificate, watching their backs disappear through the glass doors. smell of old coffee, sound of chairs scraping wooden floors, lights turning off one by one. And I understood. Perfect wasn't enough, because I wasn't born a son. But that was just the first time. The real lesson? That came 7 years later, when Mom lay in a hospital bed, and I learned what she'd never dared to say out loud. September, sweltering heat. No rain, though Mom used to say she'd like rain at her funeral. More dramatic, she'd said, laughing. Nothing dramatic about it, just harsh Tennessee sun. Sweat. Wilted lilies. People in black under a white tent, fanning themselves, checking watches. Dad read the eulogy about the perfect wife. Voice steady. Didn't shake, like reading a company report. David stood at his right, shoulders straight, hands clasped behind his back. Face serious, but eyes checking the phone in his jacket pocket. I stood in the back row, between Uncle Harold and Aunt Margaret. No one noticed. After the service, back to the house. Guests arriving, bringing casseroles, hugs, saying condolences. Then eating, drinking, laughing softly, as if Mom hadn't just died. The photographer, Mom's friend, Mrs. Chen, called out, "Family photo," before everyone leaves. Dad nodded, stood in the middle of the living room, in front of the fireplace. "Immediate family only, please." Everyone stepped back. I stepped forward. David turned, saw me, stepped sideways, blocked me. "Immediate family." You heard her. "But Dad looked. Not at me, at David. "David, stand on my right." Didn't call my name, didn't say, "You too." Just nothing. They posed. Dad in the center, David on the right. Arms around each other. The left side, empty space. Where Mom used to stand. Where I should have stood. I stood outside the frame, watching. Click, flash. Perfect! Beautiful family. That photo hung in the living room for 10 years. Mom gone, Dad and David, arms around each other. And the empty space on the left, like a black hole, like a pit, like absence with a shape. That night, alone in Mom's room, bed still smelling of lavender, I opened her yearbook again. Mom's photo. Young. Bright. Army Nurse Corps. At the bottom of the page, Mom had written in blue ink, "Dreams don't expire. They transfer." I stared at those words. Long. Very long. Until the clock struck 3 in the morning. And I decided. 1 year later, I would tell them. And Dad would say words I'd never forget. Words that would push me out the door, and I'd never come back. Dinner table, March. 1 year after the funeral. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, silence. Just the sound of knives and forks hitting plates. TV from the living room, news drifting in, muted. I set my fork down. I enlisted. Dad's knife stopped mid-air. David looked up, mouthful of food. "You did what?" Dad's voice, cold, sharp. "I joined the military. Army. Infantry." Silence. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Then Dad laughed. Not happy, bitter. "The military." "Yes, like Grandpa. Like Mom wanted." "Your mother never wanted that." Dad's voice exploded, hit the walls, the ceiling, my bones. He stood up, chair scraping the floor, the sound piercing. "Your mother wanted you to get married, have a family, Be normal, not run off playing soldier like some lunatic. Mom wanted to be an army nurse. Grandpa forbade it, just like you're doing now. Dad's face flushed red. You'll fail. 6 months, you'll come crawling back here, crying, begging to stay, and I will not open that door. I know. He stepped closer, finger pointing at my face. Women don't belong on battlefields. No man respects female soldiers. No man will want to marry you. I stood up, looked straight into his eyes. Good, because I don't need any man. His mouth opened. No words came out. I turned, grabbed my duffel from the stairs, already packed since morning. Boots already laced. David called after me. Wait, you're leaving now? I didn't turn around, just said, voice steady. Basic training starts Monday. If Dad wants to write, here's the address. Set the paper on the table, walked to the door. Dad's voice behind me. She'll be back. Just wait. The door closed, not slammed, just shut. Softly, like a final goodbye. I walked to the bus station, 3 miles. Duffel heavy, legs aching, but didn't stop. And I never came back. Not because I didn't want to, but because they never called, never wrote, never asked. That's how a family breaks. Not with screaming, not with drama, but with silence. Prolonged silence. Silence like rust, slow, relentless, until there's nothing left to hold. And for the next 10 years, when I wrote letters home, when I called, when I saved lives and earned medals, they stayed silent, until they needed me gone completely, until they sent that email. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let me tell you about the letters. The letters no one answered. Fort Benning, Georgia, May. 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Basic training. I was the only woman in the infantry platoon. 32 men, 1 me. They didn't say it out loud, but their eyes said everything. Obstacle course every morning at 6. Drill Sergeant Hayes standing at the end of the track, stopwatch in hand. Rope climb, hands burning raw. Wall scaling, shoulders screaming. Crawling under barbed wire, mud in my mouth, eyes, ears. I finished 19th, beat 13 people. Hayes looked at his stopwatch, looked at me, nodded. Not bad, Warren. Coming from him, that was praise. First 6 months, I wrote 5 letters home. Address written carefully, stamps straight. Not one reply. But I thought, maybe they're busy. Maybe they read them, just don't know what to write. Maybe. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, January, 14 months after leaving home. Commander reading names from clipboard. Warren, Iraq. You ship out in 72 hours. Yes, sir. Combat zone, Tikrit province. 6 months minimum. That night, I sat in the barracks with a phone card in hand. $10, 10 minutes talk time. Dialed home, fingers not shaking, but chest tight. Ring once, twice, 3 times. Click. Yeah? David. Voice flat, annoyed. TV blaring in the background. Football game. It's me. Silence. 2 seconds, 3 seconds. What do you want? I need to talk to Dad. He's busy. David, please. I'm deploying to Iraq. Combat zone. I just wanted... Look. His voice colder, sharper. You made your choice. You left. Don't expect us to drop everything just because you're scared now. I'm not scared. I just... Click. Dial tone. I sat there, phone in hand, barracks around me silent, everyone sleeping. Dial tone humming, steady, empty. I didn't call back, didn't cry, just sat, hand holding phone, until the dial tone stopped, until there was only silence. Then stood up, hung up phone, walked back to bunk. Lay down, stared at ceiling, didn't sleep. Next morning, formation, bags packed, bus to airfield, Iraq bound. I didn't write letters anymore, didn't call anymore, because now I understood. They didn't want to hear. They didn't care if I lived or died. They just wanted me gone. Iraq, Tikrit province, 120 degrees, dust everywhere, mortar fire every night. I worked, patrol, guard duty, convoy escort. Didn't think about home. Didn't think about the phone call. Just work. One day, then another, then another. Because work doesn't stop when you're abandoned. Work is why you survive. 3 years passed like that. Iraq, Qatar, Germany. Then Afghanistan. Kandahar province, June, 5th year in the army. Staff sergeant now. Squad leader. 12 soldiers under my command. Morning patrol, route clearance, checking for IEDs before main convoy rolls through. Heat shimmering off rocks, dust in throat, radio static. Johnson, PFC, 19, Georgia kid, walking point, metal detector sweeping. Clear so far, Sarge. Stay sharp. Then, boom. World exploded. RPG slammed into lead Humvee. Fireball, black smoke, metal screaming. Contact left! Bullets ripping past. A K-47 fire, ridgeline, 300 meters. 15, maybe 20 Taliban. Return fire! Squad scattered, taking cover behind rocks. M4s barking back. Johnson's voice, high, panicked, from burning Humvee. Sarge, I'm stuck! My leg! Door jammed. Flames licking up from engine. Smoke pouring out. I didn't think, just ran. 50 meters. Bullets kicking dirt. Smell. Cordite, burning rubber. Fuel. Grabbed Johnson's vest, pulled. Door's stuck! I know! Hold on. Braced foot against frame, pulled harder, muscles screaming. Door groaned, didn't budge. Flames spreading, heat on face. Johnson coughing, eyes watering. One more pull, everything I had. Door tore open, metal shrieking. Dragged Johnson out, fireman carry. 50 yards back, bullets pinging off rocks the whole time. Laid him down behind cover, medic rushing over. Martinez, corporal, tough kid from Texas, yelling. Sarge! Chen's still in there! Humvee fully engulfed now. Black smoke, orange flames. I turned back. Couldn't see. Couldn't breathe. Smoke choking. Felt around. Found Chen. Unconscious. Blood streaming from head wound. Lifted him. Fireman carry. Stumbled out blind. Collapsed behind rocks. Laid Chen down. Checked pulse. Weak, but there. Medic! Here! Apache gunships roared overhead, Gatling guns shredding ridgeline. Taliban scattered. Fire stopped. Silence. Except for Chen coughing, Johnson groaning, flames crackling. Captain Morrison approached, face serious. Warren, that was... I'm putting you in for a Bronze Star. Just doing my job, sir. That wasn't your job. That was heroism. Bagram Airfield, September. 200 soldiers, formation, dress uniforms crisp, flags snapping in wind. Colonel Martinez stood center, holding citation box. Staff Sergeant Elise Warren, for valor under fire, for saving 3 lives at great personal risk. Opened box. Bronze star, heavy, cold metal, pinned it to my chest. Your family must be incredibly proud, smiled, forced. Yes, sir, they are. The lie, bitter, sour on my tongue. That night, in my tent, laptop open, attached 3 photos, ceremony, medal close-up, me with Colonel. Typed email. Dad, I received the Bronze Star today for pulling 3 soldiers from a burning vehicle under enemy fire. Photos attached. I thought you'd want to know. Love, Elise. Send. Waited. 1 day. 2 days. 3 days. Reply. Received. David is getting married March 15th. You should RSVP by January if you're coming. Robert. No proud. No congratulations. No glad you're safe. Just David's wedding. I saved 3 lives. And all he said? David's getting married. 2 weeks later, mail call. Warren. Legal notice. Thick envelope. Law firm letterhead. Ripped it open. Dear Ms. Warren, this is to inform you that Robert Warren has amended his last will and testament. You are no longer named as a beneficiary. All assets will transfer to David Warren. This change was executed on November 3rd, 2014. Checked dates. Medal photos sent, October 27th. Will amended, November 3rd. 1 week. He saw the medal, saw the citation, saw me save lives, and cut me out. Legally. Permanently. Not about money. About sending a message. You're not a Warren. You never were. Crumpled the paper. Threw it in trash outside tent. Walked to shooting range. Loaded magazine. 30 rounds. Fire. 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 Grouping tight. All center mass. Hands steady. Eyes dry. Reloaded. Fired another 30. Because soldiers don't cry when they're erased. They just keep shooting. 2 years passed. Same province. Same dust. Same war. April. Routine patrol. Route clearance. Comms officer jogged up. Sergeant, urgent email. Handed me tablet. Email from Dad. Subject, decision. Come home and be your brother's housekeeper, or be removed from the will. Read it once. Face didn't move. Context flashed through my mind. David's fiancée left him 2 months before wedding. Now he needed someone to cook, clean, run his house. And Dad actually thought I'd quit the army, fly home, become a maid. Because they still thought I needed them. Still thought I'd crawl back. Typed 1 word. 2. Send. Handed tablet back. Done. Continued patrol. Rifle ready. Eyes scanning hills. Didn't look back. Option 2. Removed from the will. I'd rather lose everything than lose myself. 6 months later, same province, different road. Humvee hit an IED. Blast threw me against the door. Pain white hot through left thigh. Look down. Blood. Shrapnel embedded deep. Medic shouting. Tourniquet. Morphine. Medevac helicopter. Bagram. Germany. Walter Reed. Surgery. Physical therapy. Evaluation. Doctor, Army, 40-something, kind eyes, sat across from me. The shrapnel damaged muscle tissue. You'll walk fine, but combat duty? You're done, Sergeant. How done? Medical discharge, honorable, full benefits. Nodded, didn't argue. 12 years, 6 deployments, 4 promotions. Bronze Star, Purple Heart. Over. Airport, Tennessee. 2 months later. Civilian clothes, jeans, Marines t-shirt. Bronze Star pinned to duffel. Slight limp. Thigh still ached when it rained. Rented car, drove. No plan, just drove. Found myself on familiar roads. Trees, hills. Signs to my old town. Parked outside gas station. Stared at phone. No missed calls. No texts. No welcome home. Nothing. Checked social media. David's page public. Post from yesterday. Family dinner tonight. Celebrating new beginnings. Photo. Dad, David, Jessica, new fiancé. 8 people around table. Wine. Smiling. Family dinner. I wasn't invited. Started car. Drove toward the house. Not to apologize. Not to beg. Not to ask for anything. Just to stand there, in that doorway, and show him exactly what he threw away. Show him the soldier he disowned. Show him the hero he erased. Show him that I survived without him, without his approval, without his love. I survived. And now I'm coming home. You're a disgrace to this family, and you're out of my will. Dad said those words in front of 8 guests, finger pointed at my face like a loaded gun. I'd just stepped through the doorway, uniform still dusty from Kandahar, combat boots on Mom's Persian rug, duffel bag hitting the floor, the thud like a heartbeat. The dining room froze, chandelier blazing, smell of roasted meat and wine, the clatter of a dropped fork, 8 pairs of eyes staring, mouths open. Robert, Mrs. Henderson stood up. She is not my daughter. Dad's voice filled the house, face flushed red, finger still pointing. This one abandoned her family, chose that goddamn uniform, 15 months without a single call. Now crawling back like she has any right to be here. I didn't move, didn't blink. Just looked at the man who used to lift me onto his shoulders when I was 6. The man now looking at me like trash. 15 months? My voice calm, didn't raise, didn't crack. Dad, I left 10 years ago. David, sitting at Dad's right, smirked. Yeah, and we haven't heard from you since. That's not true. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out folded papers. I wrote 5 letters during basic training, sent them to the house. None were returned. Dad waved his hand dismissively. We never received. You moved. 6 months after I left. Didn't give me the new address. Unfolded first paper. I called home January 2015, before deploying to Iraq. David answered. David's smirk faded slightly. I looked at him. You told me I made my choice and hung up. I was calling to say goodbye before combat deployment. Silence. Heavy. Thick. Mrs. Henderson covered her mouth. Oh, David. Mr. Chen, the neighbor, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Robert, is this… Dad cut him off. This is not the time. Elise, you need to leave. I sent you an email. I didn't move, voice steady. April 2016. Photos of my Bronze Star ceremony for pulling 3 soldiers from a burning vehicle under enemy fire in Afghanistan. Guests murmured, confused, shocked. Unfolded second paper, read aloud. Your reply, verbatim. Received. David is getting married March 15th. You should RSVP by January. Looked up. That's it. No congratulations. No proud of you. Just David's wedding. Jessica, David's fiancée, looked at him. You told me she never contacted you, that she just disappeared. David stood, defensive. She did disappear. I chose to serve. I pulled out medals from my duffel. Bronze Star, Purple Heart. Set them on the table. Metal clinked against china. 12 years, 6 deployments, Staff Sergeant. These aren't participation trophies. I held up the Bronze Star. Light caught the bronze surface. This is for valor, for running into fire while being shot at, for saving PFC Johnson, 19 years old, from Georgia, Corporal Martinez from Texas, Private Chen from California. Mrs. Henderson stood, walked closer, stared at the medal, tears in her eyes. And this held up the Purple Heart. Roadside IED, shrapnel through my left thigh, medical discharge, slight lift of pant leg, scar visible, jagged, red. Still hurts when it rains. Mr. Thompson, Dad's golf buddy, stared at Dad. Robert, you never told us any of this. Dad's jaw clenched. Because it's not... Not what? I interrupted. First time raising my voice, just slightly. Not important? Not worth mentioning? Your daughter served 12 years, earned commendations, saved lives, and you told people I abandoned you? You did abandon us! David slammed his hand on the table. Silverware jumped. You left. The day after Mom's funeral. 1 year after Mom's funeral. I corrected him, cold, precise. And you blocked me from the family photo at that funeral. Told the photographer, immediate family only, while I stood right there. Gasps. Actual gasps from guests. Jessica turned to David, face pale. You did what? David stammered. It was different. Mom had been dead for 4 hours. I didn't break eye contact. And you made sure I wasn't in the last family photo we'd ever take. Mrs. Henderson sat down, hand over heart. Oh my God. I pulled out final paper, legal letterhead. November 2016. 1 week after I sent you Bronze Star photos, you amended your will. Cut me out completely. Handed it to Mr. Thompson. Check the dates. He read. Face changed. Horror. Disgust. Looked at Dad. Robert, this is unconscionable. Dad snatched the paper. That was a private family matter. You made it public when you announced it tonight. I gestured to the table. In front of 8 people. Everything goes to David, the son who stayed loyal. Because he did. Dad's voice cracked, loud, desperate. He stayed here. He worked. He took care of the business while you ran off playing soldier. Playing? First time my voice rose, sharp, hard. I carried Johnson 50 yards under Taliban fire. I held Chen's head while he bled. I watched Corporal Martinez die from an IED 3 months after I saved him. That wasn't playing. Room went silent. completely silent. Only sound, clock ticking, candles flickering. Dad's hand shook, slight, visible. I took a breath, lowered my voice again. You want to know why I disappeared? I'll tell you exactly why. Pulled out phone, scrolled, turned screen to guess. April 14th, 2017. Email from Dad. Subject, decision. Read aloud. Come home and be your brother's housekeeper or be removed from the will. Jessica's face went white. She grabbed her purse, stood. I can't be here. Looked at David. You lied about everything. Walked out, door slammed. David ran after her. Jess, wait! Gone. Mr. Chen stood, looked at Dad, shook his head, didn't say anything, just left. One by one, guests stood. They didn't look at Dad, they looked at me. Mrs. Henderson hugged me, tight, whispered, Your mama would be so proud. So proud. Pulled back, eyes wet. You call me. Anytime. Mr. Thompson stopped at the door, turned to Dad. I've known you 30 years, Robert. I've never been more disappointed. Left. Others followed. Mumbles of, I'm sorry, directed at me, not at Dad, at me. Room emptied, until only two remained, me and Dad. He sat down, heavily, like his legs wouldn't hold him anymore. Stared at the medals on the table. Didn't touch them, just stared. Long silence. Clock ticked. Candles burned lower. Finally, he spoke. Voice hoarse, quiet. Where will you go? Anywhere that isn't here. Elise, no. I picked up the medals, put them back in my duffel. You spent 10 years erasing me. Legally, emotionally, publicly. You got what you wanted. Zipped bag, slung it over shoulder. I didn't come back to beg. I came back so you could see, one last time, what you threw away. Walked to door, stopped, turned. I hope it was worth it. The legacy. The will. All of it. He didn't answer, just sat there, hands on table, staring at empty space where medals were. Goodbye, Dad. Stepped outside, door closed, soft click. Walked to car, got in, started engine. Didn't look at house, didn't look back. Drove. Because I learned something in 12 years of service. You don't fight battles you've already won. And this one? This one was over the moment I walked through that door. Not because he apologized, not because he changed, but because I finally stopped needing him to. I drove without direction. Through downtown, past the old highway, past roads I used to walk to school. Sky darkening. Streetlights flickering on one by one, yellow glow through the windshield. Radio off. Just the engine humming and tires rolling on asphalt. Pulled over at a rest stop, parked under an old oak tree. Engine off. Silence settled. The deep silence of Tennessee countryside. Different from desert silence, no edge of danger, just emptiness. I sat there, hands on steering wheel, staring at darkness ahead. Didn't cry, didn't shake, just breathed. In, out, slow. Phone rang, unknown number. I looked at screen, hesitated, then answered. Hello? Female voice, professional but warm. Elise Warren? This is Carol Simmons from the Tennessean. I'm a reporter covering local stories. I was at your father's dinner tonight. Well, my mother was. Mrs. Henderson. She called me after she left and told me what happened. I'd like to do a story about your service, about what you did, if you're willing. Why? I asked. Because people need to know. Not just about your father, but about you. What you sacrificed, what you accomplished. Mrs. Henderson says your mother would have wanted people to know. Mention of Mom. It hit different, softer. I need to think about it. Of course. Take your time. Here's my number. She gave it. I didn't write it down, just listened. And Elise? For what it's worth, thank you for your service. Hung up. I sat there, phone in lap, thinking. Mom's yearbook. Dreams don't expire. They transfer. Maybe some stories need to be told. Not for revenge, but for truth. 3 days later, article ran. Front page. Tennessean. Sunday edition. Headline. Decorated veteran disowned by family while serving abroad, then came home. Photo. Me in dress uniform, Bronze Star ceremony. Colonel Martinez pinning medal. Below that, smaller photo, the funeral picture. Dad and David, arms around each other. Empty space on the left where I should have been. Carol wrote carefully, factually. Not sensational, just facts. Letters not replied to. Phone call hung up on. Bronze Star ignored. Will amended 1 week after medal photos. Email ultimatum about housekeeper. Quotes from Mrs. Henderson. We had no idea. Robert told us she'd abandoned them. We believed him. Now I'm ashamed we didn't ask more questions. Quote from Mr. Thompson. I've known Robert Warren for 30 years. I thought I knew his character. I was wrong. End of article. Elise Warren now lives in a modest apartment in Nashville, working as a veterans counselor. When asked what she wants people to know, she said simply, choose yourself, even when they tell you you're not enough. Especially then. Phone calls started. Emails, letters, strangers, veterans, people I'd never met. Thank you for your service. I went through something similar with my family. You inspired my daughter to enlist. Your mother would be so proud. That last one came from a woman I didn't know. Handwritten letter, cursive, neat and careful. I knew your mother in high school, Linda Hayes. She talked about wanting to be an Army nurse. Her father forbade it. She would be so proud of you. You did what she couldn't. You lived her dream. I folded the letter, put it in box with Mom's yearbook. Symbolic. Full circle. 2 weeks after the article, I received a call from VA office. Miss Warren, this is Director Pat Hollis from Tennessee Valley VA. We read about you in the paper. We're looking for someone to lead our new peer counseling program for female veterans. Would you be interested in interviewing? Interview became job offer. Job offer became new life. Office small, window overlooking parking lot, desk with computer, filing cabinet, photo of Mom's yearbook page hanging on wall, and every day veterans walked through door, some younger than me, some older, all carrying weight. I don't know how to talk to my family. They don't understand what I went through. They look at me different now. And I told them, not from script, just from experience. You don't need their approval to have value. You don't need their understanding to have worth. You served. That matters. You matter. 1 month after article, phone rang. Caller ID, Robert Warren. I stared at it, let it ring once, twice, 3 times, 4. Answered. Hello? Elise. Dad's voice, older, tired. I read the article. Everyone's read it. Everyone knows. I can't go to the club anymore. Thompson won't return my calls. The pastor asked me to step down from the board. I'm calling to say I'm sorry. I was wrong. About everything. About you. About what matters. Your mother, she would have... Voice broke. She would have hated what I did. Yes, she would have. Can we talk? In person? I want to. No. Elise, please, I'm your father. You stopped being my father when you cut me from that photo. When you hung up on me when I called before Iraq. When you saw my Bronze Star and decided to erase me from your will. You had 10 years to be my father. You chose David. You chose your pride. You chose wrong. I know. That's why I'm calling. To fix it. To make it right. You can't make it right, Dad. Some things can't be fixed. They can only be survived. Silence. Long. So that's it? You'll never forgive me? I didn't say that. Forgiveness isn't about you deserving it. It's about me not carrying you anymore. So yes, I forgive you. But that doesn't mean I owe you a relationship. Forgiveness and reconciliation aren't the same thing. He was quiet, processing. I'm going to hang up now, I said. If you want to do something meaningful, donate to the VA. Volunteer at veteran centers. Help people you hurt by proxy. All the soldiers whose families rejected them like you rejected me. Will I ever see you again? Maybe. When I'm ready. If I'm ever ready. But don't wait for me, Dad. Live your life. I'm living mine. Hung up. Sat there, phone in hand. No shaking, no tears. Just peace. Quiet. Real peace. 6 months later, Veterans Day. Community memorial service. I was asked to speak. Small crowd, maybe 50 people. Veterans, families, supporters. Cold November morning, breath visible in air, flags snapping in wind. I stepped to microphone, Bronze Star pinned to civilian jacket. Saw faces. Mrs. Henderson in third row smiling. Mr. Thompson near back nodding when we made eye contact. Veterans I'd counseled, strangers. And in very last row, half hidden behind others, Dad. Alone. Gray hair thinner, face older. He didn't wave, didn't smile. Just there. I didn't acknowledge him, turned to crowd. My name is Elise Warren, Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, retired, 12 years, 6 deployments. And I'm here to tell you, service isn't about glory. It's about showing up, doing the work, carrying weight so others don't have to. Paused, breathed. When I came home, I thought I needed my family to validate what I'd done, to say we're proud, to finally see me. But I learned something. The people who matter, they already see you. They show up. They carry you when you can't walk. They write letters. They answer calls. They don't wait for you to be perfect. They just love you. Messily, imperfectly, but consistently. Mrs. Henderson wiped her eyes. So if you're here today and you feel unseen, by family, by friends, by people you thought would care, know this. You are seen. By every veteran standing next to you. By every person who understands sacrifice. By everyone who knows that service isn't about medals. It's about character. Voice stronger now. Find your people. Build your family. Not through blood, but through loyalty, through respect, through showing up. Looked at Dad briefly. He was crying silently. Looked away. And to the families here supporting veterans, thank you. You're doing what mine couldn't. You're choosing love over pride. You're choosing presence over perfection. Keep doing that. It matters more than you know. Stepped back. Applause. Not loud. Respectful. Warm. Service continued. Taps played. Flags lowered. People dispersed. Mrs. Henderson hugged me. Your mama is smilin' down, baby. I know it. Others shook hands. Thank you. Beautiful speech. Needed to hear that. Dad approached, slow, hesitant. Elise? Dad. That was really good. Thank you. Awkward silence. I meant what I said on the phone. About being sorry. About wanting, I know. But sorry isn't enough, not yet. Maybe not ever. He nodded, understood. Can I call? Sometimes. Thought about it. Long moment. Once a month. Email. I'll respond when I can. If I can. That's more than I deserve. Yes, it is. He turned to leave, stopped. For what it's worth, I am proud. I should have said it 10 years ago. But I'm saying it now. Noted. He walked away, shoulders slumped, older, smaller somehow. I didn't feel satisfaction. Didn't feel vindication. Just closure. The kind that comes not from victory, but from release. From letting go. Drove home to small apartment, 1 bedroom, but it was mine. Walls covered with photos, not family, but squad. Johnson, Martinez, Chen, Colonel Martinez, Mrs. Henderson. People who showed up. Mom's yearbook on shelf, open to her page. Dreams don't expire. They transfer. I did it, Mom. I lived your dream. I became what you couldn't. And that is enough. 1 year after Veterans Day speech, I received a package. No return address, just postmark from Tennessee. Inside, Mom's piano certificate. The one from when I was 10. First place, junior division. Paper yellowed, corners folded. And a note. Dad's handwriting. Found this in the attic. Thought you should have it. You were always good enough. I just couldn't see it. -R quote. I held the certificate, ran fingers over faded gold letters. Smell. Old paper, dust, time. Memories flooded back. Community center. Applause. Running to Dad with pride. Him looking away. David getting ice cream. Me standing alone, certificate in hand. Learning for the first time that perfect wasn't enough. But now, holding it again, I understood something different. It was never about the certificate. It was never about being perfect. It was about being seen. And Dad couldn't see me because he was too busy looking at what he thought I should be. I didn't frame it. Didn't throw it away. Just put it in box with Mom's yearbook. 2 dreams, 2 generations. 1 finally realized. Office now feels like home more than any house ever did. Walls covered with photos. Veterans I've helped, thank you cards, drawings from kids of soldiers. Ms. Warren helped my mom smile again. Thank you for listening. You made me feel less alone. Every morning, I make coffee in small break room, sit at desk, and wait. Someone always comes. Young woman, barely 22, still jumpy from sounds. Older man, Vietnam vet, finally ready to talk after 40 years. Middle-aged woman, medic, can't sleep without seeing faces. I listen. I don't fix, can't fix. But I witness. I validate. I say, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're human. And what you carry, it's heavy. But you don't have to carry it alone. Some days harder than others. Days when memories hit. Smell of burning rubber, sound of Johnson screaming, weight of Chen in my arms. Days when thigh aches and I remember the IED, the flash, the pain, the end of one life and beginning of another. Those days, I walk through Nashville streets, past Vanderbilt campus, along Cumberland River. I walk until body's tired enough to sleep. Dad emails once a month. Always brief. Hope you're well. Saw article about VA program. Proud. David asked about you. Didn't know what to say. I respond sometimes. Not always. I'm good. Thank you. Tell him I'm alive. That's enough. We're not close. May never be. But we're honest now. And that's something. Mrs. Henderson visits quarterly. Brings casseroles, stories about Mom, updates on town gossip. Your father looks older, quieter. I think he finally understands. She doesn't push reconciliation. Just sits, drinks tea, says, your mama would burst with pride. Every single day. And I believe her. Last week, young woman came to office. 20 years old. Army National Guard. Family disowned her for enlisting. Sat across from me, hands shaking, trying not to cry. I don't know if I made the right choice. Everyone I love thinks I'm stupid, that I threw my life away. I showed her mom's yearbook, the photo, the caption. My mother wanted to be an Army nurse. Her father said no. She spent her whole life wondering, what if? On her deathbed, she made me promise not to shrink myself for anyone, to choose myself, even when it hurt. Girl stared at photo. Did it hurt, choosing yourself? Every day, for years. Still does sometimes. Was it worth it? I thought about it, really thought, then answered honestly. Yes, because the alternative, being who they wanted instead of who I am, that would have hurt more. That would have killed something in me that medals and promotions could never bring back. She nodded, wiped eyes. Thank you. For saying that. For showing me I'm not alone. You're not. You never were. She left lighter, not fixed, not healed, but seen. And that night, driving home through Nashville traffic, radio playing low, I thought about Mom, about yearbook, about dreams that transfer, about daughters who carry what mothers couldn't. I didn't save the world, didn't fix my family, didn't erase the pain. But I showed up, did the work, carried weight. And in doing so, I learned that legacy isn't about wills or houses or names on deeds. Legacy is about who you become when no one's watching. What you do when approval doesn't come. How you stand when the world tells you to kneel. Mom gave me a dream. Dad gave me a reason to chase it. The Army gave me tools. And I gave myself permission. Permission to be imperfect, to be enough, to be seen. Not by them, by me. That's the inheritance no one can take. The will no lawyer can amend. The legacy that matters. And every morning when I unlock office door, When I sit across from another veteran carrying weight too heavy for one person. When I say, "You're not alone." I'm living it, not for medals, not for recognition, not for family who couldn't see, but for the girl at the piano recital holding a certificate, waiting for someone to notice. I see you now. I finally see you. And you were always, always enough. Maybe you know what that feels like, being the one who left, being the one they couldn't see, being the one who chose yourself when they told you not to. If you do, if any part of this story landed in a place that still hurts, know that you're not alone in that either. Some of us were never meant to fit the boxes they built. Some of us were meant to walk out the door and find our own people, our own legacy, our own enough. And if you're still looking for permission, here it is. Choose yourself, even when it costs everything. Especially then, because the only approval that matters is the one you give yourself.